Hi, Hildie.
I am here.
Okay. Hi, Hildie. I'm Phil. Um,
Hi.
so Hildie is an American Luxembourgish Australian photographer and an encaustic and mixed media artist and a professional restoration ecologist. Her art is informed by studies in language, cartography, ancient history, Tibetan Buddhism, Japanese ceramics, ornithology, and botany. She uses I can't say it tonight, digitally altered images and geometric patterns to map dreams, spiritual and physical journeys, nature, and the scientific understanding of ecology and climate change. So, Hildy, what does that mean? Tell me a little bit about your current body of work.
So I've been painting for about 18 months. Before that, I did some digital photography and ceramics, jewelry making, but it just kind of exploded into my life, this encaustic painting. And so I have a bunch of different directions I'm going in, different themes. One of them is drawing or painting, I should say, native California plants and animals. And then there's painting my dreams, things that come to me in my dreams,
Wow.
um, and trying to make use of the tens of thousands of photos that I have and altering them digitally and doing something with them. I have a lot of ideas and I've only really just got started. I work full time as an ecologist, a state scientist.
Oh,
And
okay.
so I just do the art on the weekends and the evenings. Um, and so my current body of work, you can see over my shoulder,
Right.
that's a native California fish. I have several things that relate to the aquatic system in the Delta. And then I have some things that are more abstract.
So you do a lot of encaustic work, right?
Encaustic is really what got me going. I had never heard of it until about 2 years ago. And then I took a class, and all of the ideas that I'd had just simmering inside me for decades, dreams and motifs that I had been thinking about, and I didn't know how to actually accomplish them. I found this technique that worked for me. I don't know what happened, why. I just, acrylic just never did it for me.
Right.
And I was afraid of oil paints. And encaustic is just um, really satisfying.
So there may be some people who don't are not familiar with encaustic work. Can you describe the process a little bit?
Sure. So the paint is actually a mixture of beeswax and resin. Um, there, I use these pellets and melt them. I don't know if you can see that very well. These pellets, and I melt them over heat, about 200 degrees. That's the transparent medium, but I also use paint that has pigments mixed in. Um, and then, so it's melted and then it's painted onto a panel, a wooden panel, um, in very thin layers.
Uh-huh.
And what's really interesting is that it can be combined with a huge array of other media. You can have paper at the base on top of the wood, and then you put the wax on top of that. You can have different things between layers and on top and underneath and different colors. And it's just sort of, it's amazing what you can do with it.
So you
So
build
I've
up
been,
layers, you're
mhm.
building up layers of wax.
Yeah.
And,
Um, for example, this one, um, this has, this started with underneath there's blue,
uh-huh.
and it was kind of a circular design. I was trying to paint the energy that I feel in my body coming up through my heart. So it was called From the Bottom of My Heart, but I just didn't like the composition.
Yeah.
So I sat on it for a while, and then I decided, you know what, it'd look really great with white painted over the top, and then I would scrape the white back. So that's one of the things I do, is these excavations. This other one here is something.
Uh-huh. Oh, wow. Interesting. So those are layers. When you say you're scraping back, you're scraping through the layers of wax?
Yeah, so for with the white top layer, I scraped through that to see the colored paint below.
So is the encaustic material, the wax, your kind of your favorite material right now?
Well, yes, because I can use so many other things with it, and I'm constantly discovering new materials that I can use with it, and everything I do is an experiment, really,
And
to
that,
see how well it works.
do you think that waxy transparency kind of gives it that dreamlike quality that you're looking for?
Yeah, and so like the one here,
Uh-huh.
or this one is a better one, maybe. No, this one. This one has lots of layers of
Yeah.
translucent paint with opaque paint, and just many layers over each other. And so it gives it depth that
Right.
I think it's hard to get with other media.
Uh-huh.
And you kind of really have to see it in person. But, and then I have on the surface, I drew fish and then added hand pastel, and I don't remember what I drew around the edge with ink, maybe.
Wow. Interesting. So do you have any artwork that's going to be included in any in any exhibits coming up, exhibitions?
I have a piece currently at the Crocker, of all places,
Really?
which is great for a new person. So it's not like I'm part of an exhibit for famous people. It's a community exhibit that was put on by a group of encaustic artists called the Sierra Wax Artists.
Ah.
And it's a juried show, and I have one piece that's about 8 inches, and like this one over here, it's excavated, and it's called Glimpsing the Dream. And it actually is interesting because I dreamt about the underlayer. I had this dream of this woman painting black and white and pink in 2 shades, just sort of these different brush strokes in sort of random pattern. And in my dream, I was thinking, oh, that's really interesting. I wish I could do that. And I realized, oh, that woman is me. That's not another woman. I need to paint that. In fact, that's what's been going on for me for decades, that I dream about a woman painting. And then I wake up crying, or I mean, not all the time, but sometimes in the dream, I think, why didn't I think of that? I wish I could do that, but I wasn't painting at the time. And at the time, it didn't occur to me that, oh, that was my idea in my dream. So I finally found a way to paint those dreams.
So what sent you to that encaustic class that kind of started your painting career?
So I saw a work of art on the cover of, those monthly magazines that go around in Sacramento. I live in Land Park, and there was this piece on the cover that it just looked really interesting. It was very abstract. It looked mid-century modern or something. I wasn't really sure what it was, but that kind of started me on the quest to learn the technique. And I had no idea what I was getting myself into, how versatile it would be, and how much I would love it. I just knew there was something about it I had to do.
Do you think your kind of your scientific background, your scientific training influences your painting?
Well, yeah, I'm bringing it in, but I'm actually working with a totally different part of my brain than I have been. So I've spent maybe 30 years as a scientist, and then with my right brain kind of trying to bubble through and not getting very satisfied. And so, but what I'm trying to do is bring them together in a way. So I have so much ecological knowledge and passion about it.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to, with some of my work, so not all of it, but some of it, like the one over my head, there's a flower there.
Yeah.
That's not an endangered species. This one is. I'm not sure if this one is finished, but I'm trying to portray species that are endangered in particular, or just native species, to include them in works of art. And so this is the Tiburon mariposa lily, which is found only in Tiburon on Ring Mountain. And so it's got a very, very small population. So I'm really concerned about what's going to happen with climate change. It may disappear. So I have some other ideas about trying to create, well, actually that fish one, this is about the longfin smelt in the Delta. So what I do as a restoration ecologist, I work with a program that funds restoration projects and scientific studies in the Delta. And so there's a number of projects that I'm involved with that deal with this fish, the longfin smelt. So day after day, I'm reading this stuff about this species. Right. And I'm actually going to add some more stuff here that would be its food, which is an invertebrate, a group of invertebrate aquatic organisms. So I want it to actually be realistic. I'm really worried about having something that's ecologically inappropriate. So that's where my scientific brain comes in. I don't have made up organisms.
Right.
Well, I've done a few where they're made up, but I'm trying to have them be ecologically appropriate.
Cool.
And educational, maybe. I can't help it, actually. To do that.
Wow. So do you share any of that at work with any of your coworkers? Any of your artwork?
Yeah, I've told some of my coworkers about it. I haven't shown that to anyone. I've been working from home for the last 6 months, so I haven't shown anything to anybody recently at work.
So that was my next question: is how has COVID-19 affected your art projects? You don't get.
Well, I mean, I work. My studio is in my house. And it really has not affected my practice at all, because it's still just an evening and weekend thing. I work 40 hours a week on my science job during the day.
So is your art kind of an outlet to like it's a whole different side of you from the scientific side?
I think so. Well, it's more than an outlet. It's just another part of me that had not been expressed for the past 60 years. So I can't wait until I retire in maybe 5 or 6 years so that I can do art full time. Although then I might at that time still do some sciencey stuff on the side. I don't know. I mean, I have no choice. I've heard that, said that I've heard people saying, don't try to be an artist unless you can't do anything else. You don't have a choice. Well, that's how I feel right now. I have so many ideas, and it's not that it's a compulsion necessarily, but I feel like I have to do it. Maybe it's a distraction from all of the crap that's going on in the world, in part. I admit that.
Yeah. Well, and you're enjoying. I'm glad you're an artist. It looks like you're doing a great job, and I'm glad you're on the tour this year.
Yeah, my first time.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I mean, normally we would have your studio open and people coming to your house and asking you questions, but
I wouldn't be doing it. If it was in person, I wouldn't be doing it. Because we had the opportunity to do it virtually, I thought this is a great way for me to get involved.
Good for you. Well, I'm glad you chose to do it virtually with us this year. I hope you have a great weekend. I encourage people to go visit Hildie and ask her questions about her art. Buy a few pieces. Are your pieces for sale?
Yes, they are. And I have a website. I set up a website last week, hildiespautz.com. And my studio will be on Zoom. I'm not doing a live stream on Instagram or Facebook. I have a Zoom link, and that's on my artist directory and also on my website, that information. Thank you.
thank you for doing this year. We hope you have a great weekend.
Thank you. It's nice meeting you. Bye.
You too.